welcome back to the EDUHUNT classes. So in this particular video we are going to learn regarding separation of cream from milk. So how we are going to separate the cream from the milk, we are going to learn. Okay. So we already know milk contains different components such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, water and minerals, and also some dissolved salts. Yes. So it contains the amount of oil content, which means the thing. Okay, we are going to separate that particular cream from the milk. Okay, through the process called as a special technique named as centrifugation. What is that? Centrifugation. Okay, so let's get started. Yes, let's get started the particular class. Ready? Yes, I am also ready. So let's start the class. Okay. So here is a heading for you: separation of cream from milk. Alright, so here if you see, sometimes solid particles in a liquids are very small. Children, we do observe the particles of some solid are very small, tiny. Okay, so for that such particles which are very small, they can pass through the even filter paper. Okay, we will use a filter paper, yeah, the conical flask and the funnel we will use, no? For that particular filter paper also, the small sized particles are not being left as a residue, they are floating and they are allowing the small sized particles inside of the filter paper, so it is allowing that. Okay. But if we need to separate the such a small, very small, tiny particles from that of any liquid, what we need to do? Okay, we will just see. So for separating, because they just pass through the filter paper, for such particles, the filtration technique cannot be used for separation. So if is there any liquid which contains some dissolved small tiny particles inside it, we cannot separate it through the separation technique using filter paper. We definitely need a special technique. What is that? That is called as centrifugation. Okay, we can be separated, we can separate using the method called as centrifugation. Okay, remember the word centrifugation. Okay, how is cream separated from milk? It is using centrifugation. Okay, yeah. So children, what is centrifugation? Do you ever hear the word centrifugation ever? Okay, in the first basic video, in the separating the components in a mixture, I told you there centrifugation is nothing but, yes, separating the dissolved, tell me, separating the dissolved components, then what? Separating finely suspended particles in a liquid. Very good. So whatever the fine particles are present in that particular liquid, to separate them, we need a process called as, technique called as centrifugation. I already gave an example regarding that. What is the example I gave you there? Blood. Very good. So here we are going to use the same technique for separating cream from milk. Okay. So here is separation, the technique for centrifugation. Let's see what's the definition. Okay, the method of separating finely suspended particles. What is that? The method of separating finely, the method of separating finely suspended particles in a mainly liquid. Liquid is important over here. Okay, that is in a liquid, definitely should be a liquid. Okay, so the method of separating finely suspended particles in a liquid by whirling. You know what is whirling? You know what is meant by whirling, children? Whirling is nothing but rotating or spinning with some force or speed. Okay, in that particular machine we will use the process called as whirling, which means the complete machine is being turned with some speed or force applied. Okay, so that is the meaning of whirling. It is rotating or spinning with some force or speed, we can say. Okay, so that machine is being rotated with some high speed so that the particles present in the liquid will get separated by using the technique called as centrifugation. Okay, children. So here we have the method of separating finely suspended particles in a liquid by whirling the liquid at a very high speed is called as centrifugation, at a very high speed. Okay. So, in that particular machine we are going to separate the given components, the mixtures. Okay. So, I will show you the picture for you. This is a cream separation process. Okay. This is a required cream to be separated from the milk. Okay. And this machine is called as, it is used for separating. And what is that? Centrifugation technique. Okay. This is the separated machine for the process centrifugation. Okay. In this we will open this cap, we will insert the test tubes with some filling liquids. Okay. There will be some holes, we will just insert the particular test tube in that particular hole, so that we can just switch it on and it will keep on rotating with high speed, it will separate the given components. Okay. And through this process we can apply it for separating the components in the urine, blood, and also in washing machine, you know. Yes, it will keep on rotating high speed, right? Yes, yes. So, this is all about the general introduction picture for that of cream separation process. Okay. This is the cream after what we are separating the milk. Okay. And this is a particular given machine to be used in the centrifugation process. Okay, children, did you understand? Okay. Next I will show you the methods and process, how we are going to do it. What is the principle of centrifugation? We will do it. Principle of centrifugation. What is the principle, the role required with that of centrifugation technique we will learn here. Okay. So, using this particular process of centrifugation, we are going to separate many things, no? So, what is the principle behind it? We will see that. Okay. Now, it is based on that when a very fine suspensions or a colloidal solution is whirled rapidly with high force, high speed. Okay. The heavier particles are forced towards the bottom, very important. The heavier particles are forced towards the bottom and the lighter particles stay at the top. As with that of oil and water, children, in this liquids I told you, know what is that? There the oil is having less density compared to that of water, no? Similarly, here in the blood or else in the milk, whatever the particles are having heavier, which means having heavy weight, they will come and settle down in the particular centrifugation given tube in the bottom of the particular liquid. Okay. But whatever the particles are having small weight, we can say lighter in the particular weight, they will have seed in the top of the particular test tube. Okay. For example, this is the test tube, children. This is the test tube, let us say. So, in that I added milk. So, I added milk. Okay. And I took this particular test tube and I added milk. So, what did I do? I placed this test tube in the centrifugation technique machine. There will be a particular holes to be where the test tubes being inserted inside. So, like this, if I place this and if I insert here inside of this, okay, okay, I inserted. What did it contain? It contains some, yeah, milk. Yes. Ready? Now, this centrifugation technique is being processed. After that, if I remove this centrifugation, sorry, if you remove this particular test tube and if I do observe, what is being observed, you know, the same test tube which is taken earlier will contain the particles settled down is nothing but milk. What is that? Milk. And the top of that we can observe some amount of lighter particles, that is cream. What is that? Cream. Then what settled down, children? The heavier particle, what is that? Milk. What is that? Milk. We can say skimmed milk. What is that? Skim milk without cream. Okay. So, here this is a particular principle of centrifugation where you can observe the method. It is based upon the what? It is based upon the, yeah, the separations of very fine suspension particles or colloidal solutions. Children, what is the size of suspension particles? 1 second. What is the size of that? Yeah, 10 power minus 5 centimeters. What about this? 10 power minus 7 to minus 5. Very good. So here it may be very small, tiny particles, no? That particular size. So those cannot be separated by separation techniques. We will use definitely centrifugation. In that, it is based on which one? Very fine suspension particles or colloidal solutions. It is drilled rapidly. The heavier particles are forced to set at the bottom of the given substance, the test tube we can say, okay, of the liquid is at the bottom, and the lighter particles will be staying at the top. Okay, the cream, the content of foamy cream, it is lightweight, no? It will be at the top of the particular test tube, and the heavier particles, the water which is having more density, will come down at the bottom of the particular the test tube will be settled at the bottom. Okay, so hence we can separate those such components with the help of technique called as centrifugation. Okay, so what is the behind method? We will see. Before that, I'll show you a picture regarding this. Here, see how to separate cream from milk. How to children? How? By using a method called as which one? Louder, tell me it louder. Centrifugation. Very good. What is that process? How to separate? By process called as centrifugation. By centrifugation technique. Okay. Now, look at the second picture. This is all about the separation of cream from milk by which one? Centrifugation. Very good. So, if this is centrifugation contained machine, the small one in laboratory will use this. So, if I open this cap, inside there will be some holes like this, okay, many holes, and in that we will insert the given test tube. We will just insert the given component, the mixture to be separated, we will insert in particular holes. Okay. So, after that what happens if I just take this milk? Okay, we can just see the separation of cream and milk too. I'll write here. Okay, if this is the milk, children, if this is the milk taken to be separated in the centrifugation process technique, okay, what happens? You can observe the amount of cream on top of the given beaker, and the down settled one is called as which milk? Skimmed milk. What is that? Skimmed milk, which means apart from that of cream, only the leftover milk. Okay. So, like this, milk is a mixture of both cream and skim milk. After the process centrifugation, the cream is being separated by the top of, staying at top, and milk is settling down. Okay, that is called as skim milk. Got it? This is the particular picture for that of centrifugation technique of separation of milk, separation of cream from milk. Okay. Now we'll go with the method how it is being processed. Okay. So milk is suspension. We know it already. Milk is a suspension. Milk is a suspension of tiny droplets of oil cream in water. So there is a presence of oil cream with water. Did you ever observe, children, in the morning mummy will open the milk packet, no? Yeah. So after pouring a particular container, the steel container, what happens? You can observe some yellowish, lemon yellowish colored components here and there in the overall milk. Okay. So if it is the milk is creamy white, you can observe some yellow colored things, some oily droplets of cream. It spread all over to the particular top of the the steel container. Okay. But you can observe only in the top of the layer. Okay. Down it is not present because why? Oil content cream is lightweight, it will settle in the particular top of the layer, whereas milk will go down. Okay. So if you observe that particularly, that is a natural live example you can say. Okay, just try, go home and try. Whatever you see, the open milk packet pouring on a steel container, okay, the beaker will be available now easily. So ask your mommy to just pour the packet of milk in the particular steel container. Just observe it without disturbing it, just observe. Okay, you can observe the oil content, which is some yellowish in color, will settle at the top of the container, and the milk will be going down. It will be like that. if you don't disturb that, you should carefully observe that particular thing. Okay, so the oily cream in water will be separated like that. Okay, so we can see the separation there itself. Okay, so this is what happened here. Just a second, what is this? Yeah, so here we can observe milk is a suspension of tiny droplets of oil cream in a water of liquids. Done. It is liquid or not? Milk is a liquid in condition. Yes. And the milk is put in a closed container in a big centrifugation machine. Okay. We know now, after opening this, we will just insert the particular given test tube in the particular hole. After we will close the machine with the cap and we will just switch it on. Okay, like this. This is all about the speed, children. Generating speed, this button. This is on and off. Okay. So just telling like that. What is this? We are just closing the container with a big centrifugation machine. And what next? When the centrifugation machine is switched on, the milk is rotated at very high speed. We know it already. Okay. Centrifugation technique is like that. It will rotate it at high speed. Rapidly it moves the building. Okay. In its container, and due to this, the milk separates into cream and skimmed milk. Got it? Okay. Now, the cream being lighter, we know cream is lighter, takku baru, okay. Being lighter, floats over the skimmed milk. Skim milk being heavy, it will settle down, whereas the cream which is having lighter than that of skim milk will float on the particular milk. Okay. Then we can happily remove now. Yeah. Thus cream is separated from milk by called suspensions. No, that is centrifugations. Okay. So milk is being separated with help of the cream, and separation of cream and milk is being seen by the process called as centrifugation. Got it? This is all about the method, and you can see some more. Did you understand this now? Yes. It is easily explained with the help of pictures like this. And one more picture for you. Yeah, this is the one. This is the whole milk. Well, the milkman will bring no the can. Okay. If it is a whole milk, we can separate by also the cream separator. Okay. Up to here, you know, no, that is centrifugation. Here you have cream separator. We are pouring milk here and with cream separator. Okay. The basic things which we used earlier before centrifugation techniques. Okay. And here we can observe the separation of cream and skimmed milk. Okay. But nowadays we are going to do all these things in the laboratories for separation of cream if necessary, or else we will just add it. Okay. It contains good fat. Yes. So this is all about the picture, children, where whole milk plus cream separator is when is used, when this is suspended with that of cream separator, it will separate the cream for the particular thing in centrifugation one, and we can observe the separation of cream and skimmed milk. Very good. So this is all about the process where we can see the observation of the separation of cream from milk by the process called as centrifugation technique. Okay. Hope you understood regarding this, how milk is centrifuged to just separate the milk and the cream, skim milk and the cream itself. Okay. All about centrifugation. So hope you really understood. Okay. So next one is application of centrifugation. So where do we just use this centrifugation techniques to be done for the separation of components of this mixtures? Okay. So first one, it is employed in diagnostic laboratories in testing urine and blood samples. Okay. So we will just use this in the diagnostic laboratory as the help of using this, separating with that of urine and also blood samples. Okay. By the process called as centrifugation technique only. And one more, it is employed in blood banks to separate different constituents of blood. Okay. Yeah, it's very important in the blood banks to separate different constituents of blood. Okay. Now, last one. It is used in drying machines. We know it already. It will squeeze the water, no? It gives the dry clothes. Okay. It is used in drying machines to squeeze out water from the wet clothes. Okay. If you want the dryer, it will just squeeze all the water content from that of the clothes and will give us the dry clothes from the wet clothes. Okay. These are the applications of centrifugation technique, children. So, all these are regarded of process with that of centrifugation, where we are using it widely all over there, and by this centrifugation technique we are going to separate the cream from the milk. Okay. So, milk is being separated with that of using the centrifugation technique into cream and skimmed milk. Okay. This is all about the centrifugation technique, children. Hope you understood how we are going to use it, what's the principle of centrifugation, what's the method behind it, and what applications too for the separation of cream from milk and also the centrifugation technique. Okay. Hope you understood and like this video. Okay. So, see you in the next video. Thank you.